Test, test. I think we are live. Hello, guys. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me. I'm trying to pull this live stream up on a separate monitor so I can see. But I'm here with Dustin, man. Dustin, what's up? Thanks for being
Hey,
here.
how's it going? Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you had time in the middle of the day on a Thursday to go live and talk Etsy. So
Absolutely.
what made you reach out to me and like want to even do this?
Well, honestly, I've been following your channel for a while, and it's been a huge help. And I've dove into this kind of head first. I put maybe 8 to 10 hours a day into my various e-commerce stores, and I'm sure you've seen me. I'm always trying to like on the groups and comments and everything, trying to talk with people and help people. And I was thinking, well, I'm starting to experience significant growth. I feel like, but I'm much earlier in the journey than a lot of people are. So I figured, why not reach out and see if I could have you review, like in an honest review, because I want to make sure I'm doing things right. I don't want things kind of sugar coated, I guess. And yeah, I figured you'd probably be the best person to do that. And yeah, so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And I do really enjoy recently, especially talking about Etsy, because I've been like over the last 3 weeks, probably like really head down behind the scenes, like planning this new Etsy shop that I've been wanting to launch. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, so it's getting there. Like I've been uploading recently, doing like heavy automation. I have big plans for the shop, so I'm trying to see how far I can take it.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
I
it looks
look
like we
forward to
got some
seeing
comments rolling in. So what's up, Barbara? What's up, Martin? Someone says, tell us who's Dustin.
that.
Dustin, you on YouTube or anything, by the way? You want to plug anything?
Yeah, actually, I do have a new channel, just Crito Designs. It's actually going to be following my exact kind of journey of, I guess, financial freedom. Everything I'm doing from my Etsy, I'm also on TeePublic and Redbubble. So just kind of more educational content that is going to be going over what I do.
Nice, man. So I'll put that in the description, like after we wrap up the live stream,
Okay,
so that people can
awesome.
check it out. Yeah, but I do appreciate like you trying to help everybody, being active in
Oh,
the Facebook group and everything. So
oh, of course. It helps me learn, honestly. Like that's what I always think, if I can teach somebody, like it just helps solidify those concepts. And yeah,
yeah, for sure, man. Martin says Etsy's such an awesome opportunity. For sure, it
I
is
agree.
definitely. Um, yeah, I mean, I was off Etsy for a while too, just because the amount of time it takes to do customer support when you scale your shop up can be crazy. What's up, D?
Yeah.
No problem. Uh, Liana or Ilana says such a big help. Just stuck on a pattern silhouettes. Oh, cool. How to put a pattern on silhouettes. Awesome.
That's
Maybe we
a
can talk about that later.
actually absolutely. You'll actually see in my shop that a lot of my designs are based off of that, which I've learned from you. I mean, like you can see it. Like my earlier designs are just simple, like text based, like how all the POD start. But they've gotten more advanced, and almost all of my new designs are the vintage sunset outlines.
Nice, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's been working for me for a long time, and to this day, it still works. I mean,
yeah,
it's still
it
working
is.
quite well for me on Amazon merch at least. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I've been
Yeah.
using a lot of with my new like I've been doing a lot of designs recently just for like Etsy specifically, kind of in my mind fitting the Etsy mold. I'm not
Oh
trying to
yeah.
hit 200,000 uploads on Etsy the way I am on Merch by Amazon. So I'm trying to be
Right.
more refined. I've been using a lot of like creative Fabrica, man. Just like the
Mhm.
extent of the graphics that they have there. I like they have everything. It's crazy. Like I didn't think it was as deep as it is, but I was looking for like mock-ups, for instance. You need a good
Oh
you
yeah.
need at least like a good mock-up to get that initial
Right.
click on Etsy. And I was like, it just crossed my mind. I was like, I haven't checked Creative Fabrica if there's mock-ups. And so I
Mhm.
just start looking and they have like each specific t-shirt, that you could possibly need. And they've got
Yeah.
multiple mock-ups. It's just all there. So if you have the subscription, it's like you just grab it.
Yeah, absolutely. Creative Fabrica is awesome. I do have a subscription, and one thing I really like about them, they do have like a word cloud generator where you can actually upload like an SVG outline of pretty much anything and type in, what words you want, and like make high quality things, and that comes with that subscription, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But Creative Fabrica has really been a big help. There's a lot of great assets there, and I'm actually beginning to think, you can sell your designs, like your old designs and stuff, to them. And, you know,
Mhm.
that could be another potential way to make money. So it's a pretty cool platform.
Yeah, like, it depends on, like, the extent of, like, I guess, how far you're willing to go with,
Yeah.
like, monetizing your designs, but, like, for sure, you
Right.
see people that sell your designs in bundles on Creative Fabrica or individually. They have that creative market aspect, and, I mean,
Hmm.
they're indexed on Google too, so their stuff is getting visibility. You can sell them on digital downloads on Etsy, so,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did an
Definitely.
interview yeah, I did an interview with, I've gotta check her name real quick. My bad for forgetting. But, another YouTuber who was doing basically something similar with, like, listing all of the designs, like, everywhere basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she was on Creative Market. She was on some of the other, like, image websites. I forget which ones. I'm doing a
Oh,
bad job
cool.
kind of recapping this, but,
Oh, no, it's
yeah. But she was doing really well, basically. She said she had, like, 20 something sources of, income because she would do these designs and then just post them, like, everywhere, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, and that's yeah, yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know, and that kind of ties into what another thing I've taken from you is, you know, taking as much real estate as possible, internet real estate. So I have been trying to launch, you know, T Public and Redbubble and all those other ones just to maximize that reach.
Yeah, for sure. For me, T Public was great. Like, I was doing pretty well there for a while. I think they're owned by Redbubble, by the way. And then they,
Oh, are they?
yeah, and then they just like I
Oh,
think they just overnight changed their stance on it's not necessarily automation, but it was more or less
mhm.
just like if you're uploading too many designs, I think because a bunch of
Oh,
people got hit
interesting.
in like an instant wave of just bans basically.
Really?
And I
Wow.
was swept up in that. And so I just haven't been on there since really.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I haven't had any luck yet. You know, I've been slowly uploading designs there, and TeePublic's the one that I haven't quite broken through.
Okay, cool. Yeah, T Public, I mean, the sales there can be pretty high. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I love that. You know, the one big downside with this kind of model with Etsy is, you know, you have to when somebody purchases, you know, you have to pay the printer for the you know, for the product and for them to
right,
ship
right.
it, and then Etsy distributes uh, you know, your account later on. So it is a big difference, you know, being able to like merch by Amazon or TeePublic and whatnot, where you don't have that initial upfront cost. Because especially in a small store like mine that's scaling so fast, that can be kind of difficult, you know, when you're trying to catch up like that, you know. Uh, but it's an exciting difficult too.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things when I had my first, like, big success on Etsy, sold, like I think it was either 5 or 7 grand in, like, 2 days, basically,
Oh,
like,
wow.
with
Yeah.
a trending hat design,
Oh, cool.
and it was crazy, it was, like, converting so well that they were running ads on Google for me without charging me,
Oh,
so that
wow.
actually can happen, I know that from firsthand experience.
That's awesome.
And, but yeah, like the way that it hits your credit card, you gotta float all the money for, you know, the order fulfillment. So you gotta make sure your
Exactly.
credit card company is ready to go. And that was, for me, like I think one of the first big successes I had. So then I was dealing with switching credit cards and stuff like that, you
Hmm.
know, because one would get like locked in before I could even call them because it was a weekend actually. It was like Friday to Saturday thing. So
Oh,
I had
yeah.
to switch it to like a personal credit card, which wasn't ideal, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
But
absolutely. It's that's kind of my next step is actually getting an LLC and hopefully getting everything, you know, business on a credit under that and just keeping it completely separate.
yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
So anyways, this person keeps asking about you. They want to know what's your success in the field? Do you have some success on Etsy?
I'm starting to get some success. I
Yeah.
saw. Do you want me to start? You want to?
No, no, go ahead, man. Yeah, tell them a quick
Okay.
story, and then we're gonna roll into a Etsy shop review to show your shop. Because guys, not
Okay.
everybody needs to be like somebody who's been doing this for a year, year plus with some big number. You know what I mean? To flash, like Dustin's doing
Mhm.
it the right way. He's early in the process, but we're still gonna do an Etsy shop review and keep it transparent. We're gonna see his shop in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So again, thanks for having me. I'm Dustin, and I have several e-commerce shops, but the primary one that we're going to be going over is Crido Designs, and I've been active on this shop for about 4.5 months, and I hit 175 sales last night, and so it's rapidly scaling. In fact, kind of what we were just talking about, like that growth is occurring. In fact, the last 2 months is I've experienced over 400% month over month revenue increases, which is significant. And you know, like so, I feel like I'm on a good track. I do spend a lot of time, maybe 8 to 12 hours a day, on everything from, design to research to education, because I'm in this. This is what I'm doing. So I feel, like I'm doing something well, and I'm much earlier in the process, as you're saying, than a lot of other people that have been doing this for a while. But I feel like I'm doing something decent. So I want to try to help. I want to try to teach as well. So yeah, that's kind of my little spiel.
Nice. And you're seeing the potential here with like the broad approach to print on demand. I don't know what to call it, but like you're not just uploading to Etsy, right? You said you're getting
Right.
started with merch by Amazon and whatnot.
Yep, I'm on Merch by Amazon, Redbubble, TeePublic. I have actually a store on my Facebook shop, and so I'm trying to get as much internet real estate as possible.
Yeah, cool, man. I mean, for me too, it's like with my background as a web developer, just thinking of Google kind of make or breaking your website if you're just building websites, right? Like, oh,
Yep.
you're not on Google, you're not ranking high on page one. Oh, well, then nobody knows you exist, right? So I'm
Hmm.
thinking, hey, with print on demand, we say low barrier to entry. It is more or less, and
Yeah.
but like if we're going for the organic, like minimum price expenditure, like not running a lot of ads and whatnot, like we can
Hmm.
still get organic rank on Google for free. The typically, generally
Hmm.
speaking, the best way to do that is to, be on, Amazon, Etsy, eBay, whatever other websites, Redbubble, TeePublic, places that Google recognizes as like authoritative domains,
Right.
you know what I mean, that it'll favor. And plus, like, so a lot of these places will run ads on our behalf, like Redbubble does it for free, sending traffic to our listings and whatnot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you're gonna determine if you're gonna make an Etsy account based on this live stream. All right, well, let's see what
Oh,
we can do to. There we go. That's good. Already focusing on Q4. I like that too.
absolutely.
Martin said Amazon Seller Central print on demand also awesome, and I agree there. And he asked too if I'm gonna share my Etsy shop. Yeah, like I'll definitely be talking more about it. Maybe like next week. I was thinking of doing like a week of themed videos, just kind of talking about each step, each process.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that would be
Because
really
yeah, I
cool.
mean, I spent a lot of time like testing things, like figuring
Mhm.
out the intricacies of exactly how I'm going to do this, and then the customer service part I solved by my girlfriend Marielle is going to basically do that.
Oh
So,
really?
but
Oh,
that's
that's
been
cool.
a whole headache of itself because like she recently lost her Etsy shops because like one customer reported one listing and then they
Oh
took all
wow,
three of her Etsy shops, which is crazy. But
really?
so we're
Wow.
trying to like figure out if she can log into the new shop safely, right?
Mhm.
Like, so it's stressful, man. It's
Right.
stressful.
Yeah, no, and that's definitely, again, Etsy's an awesome platform, but I hear a lot of stories like that too. So it's definitely, if, for those who are looking to get into it, just know that you have to be very careful. Run everything you do through, the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that you're not infringing, because Etsy can come down.
Yeah, it's definitely not uncommon. Like every time I do a video on this topic, there's 20, 30,000 views and like there'll be bots that spam the comments trying to sell services for getting your shop like unbanned. Like it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
All right. So let me queue up the screen share here.
Okay.
All right. So we'll pull up your Etsy shop. Thank you to everybody here that's hanging out with us, by the way.
Yeah. Thank
Someone
you.
said they're just watching The Walking Dead. That's a pretty good show. Um, all right. Can you guys see this? Yeah.
Looks good.
Cool. All right. So Crypto Designs or Crypto. I thought it was
Crypto.
crypto initially because there's so many crypto
It's
shops.
actually a offshoot of my previous channel, which was that crypto education channel, the Crypto Toad. So Crido.
Uh-huh. Nice, nice. Will we be seeing any crypto designs on your shop?
There's a couple actually. I just put one up yesterday. I survived the 2022 crypto crash.
Oh, nice, nice. Right. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was buying quite a bit recently. I think maybe, we don't know if the floor's in yet. Like I know Bitcoin's
Right.
got a lot of support at 20K, but like, dude, I am not disillusioned at all by thinking that being bullish USD long term is the solution. So I will
No, it is
openly
not.
state that I will happily continue to buy Bitcoin. I'm not buying like speculative you know what coins,
Right.
SH apostrophe T coins, but I will happily buy Bitcoin all day.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
absolutely. I'm right there with you.
yeah, cool, man. So as far as and chime in as we go, but let's do this kind of Etsy shop review organically.
Okay.
First things first, you have a bright yellow banner. And it just
I
makes it
totally go.
reminds me, my girlfriend, man, she was like, I used to do my YouTube thumbnails with like yellow and black, and she was like, you gotta change that color scheme.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that means anything as far as Etsy banners go, but like it reminds me of like if you go back to my channel and just sort videos like oldest to newest, you'll see
Mhm.
like bright yellow.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that would like grab people's attention.
yeah, that's exactly what I think yellow and green are like the two that are supposed to really grab
Yeah.
initially, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it looks good, man. And then even beyond like the banner, which by the way, like I was looking at kind of old shops that I had from like 2018, literally. I used to have like
Hmm.
daily conversations with some people about like how to make the best Etsy shop ever. We'd study the best ones, and
Oh,
some of
yeah.
the ones that I had saved that I didn't even know I had saved were like utilizing their banners to basically like promote the sale that they were running,
Mhm.
like how you
Yeah.
pretty much always have a sale running, but maybe they would do like I don't know, more than that. Like if you buy 3 shirts, like get 1 free or something, and you can
Oh, yeah.
create coupons basically based on how you price your shirts. You can be
Mhm.
strategic, right? If your shirts are like 19.99, then do a coupon that's basically, what would that be? Like $59 or more,
Mhm.
deduct 20 or something, right?
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that brings up another point too, but especially with these Etsy shops. Like you'll notice as we continue that my price points are actually quite a bit higher than most other shops, and that is very that's specific. Like there's so many shops that are trying to undercut each other. There's a lot of
Mhm.
shops that use really cheap POD providers, so you get what you pay for. And then there's other shops that are literally from China, other places where they're just trying to push as much crap as they can. And so I kind of am taking this other approach. Well, I know my print provider is good. I know
Mhm.
that these designs are original, and I'm building these out, and they're based off of data. So that's kind of been my approach. So I have a much higher price point, which is, so it says 21.99. That's actually a tactic in Etsy. I do sell like 1 or 2 variants for 21.99, but the majority of them are 25.99
Wow.
with free shipping. So
Okay.
with the free shipping, and so that in itself, that's another kind of tactic I had learned, because that's how when you see people selling shirts for $10, usually if you go there, it's like one extra small shirt. So at least this, like it's still, I still make a profit even if they buy the lower one, but it's all within the same like kind of shipping, what shipping would cost, I guess. That's kind of my thought process.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. No, I like that. I like that. Um, no, man, and let me know how your sales are going for this price point. Like what I've been, so I spent like not a full day, but I spent like quite a bit of time one day just going through. Well, when you're starting fresh, right? You can use any print provider you want. You can use like Printful, Printify. There's one called Awkward Styles I've been looking into recently.
oh, okay.
There's just so many options, right? And
Mhm.
Printify has all these embedded printers within them. So
Yeah.
uh, ultimately it's like if I want to maximize profits, then I want to have at a minimum options. So I made this spreadsheet that was like going through the different like types of shirts, the printers, the price ranges based on like what colors you select and what size, you
Oh,
know what I mean? And I
yeah.
made this spreadsheet that like basically shows what I think are the best options um
Oh,
through
cool.
Printify, which I mean that Printify is where you're going to get the best prices as far as
Right.
like what I've seen generally speaking
Hmm.
um through certain providers. And like the profit margins that I've was able to come up with actually, selling the Bella Canvas 3001, like if I sell it 19.99
Hmm.
uh through a certain provider, well, I'll even tell you guys, like if you use like it's called the Dream Junction,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're okay with using like heather colors, then you can use the Bella Canvas 3001 and get a 39.4 profit percentage
Okay.
per
Interesting.
sale. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And I also have a separate column for that's like $9.45 per sale, and like you can get it to $8.32 if it's an offsite ad that leads
Oh,
to the sale.
interesting. Okay.
So
Yeah. The one I use Printful, and I've been thrilled with the quality and how fast. In fact, for like a month there, I think it was less than a day. all of the processing times were less than a day. But I've really been looking at Printify because it is more expensive. Last month was the first month that I hit a volume. So there are volume discounts through Printful. So, and there were the initial ones 5%. So that's nice, like, but still, I think but it's still pretty expensive compared to Printify. I don't remember what the exact
yeah.
is.
I have some of it written down. I could tell you.
Oh yeah.
Like a Bella Canvas and Printful, you can get from $19.99. You can get it to actually no, I have separate pricing. So yeah, you'd probably be around like 20% profit margin. So yeah, for me, I can get it as high as 27%. But
oh yeah,
and then if you use the Gildan 64,000, you can get a 31% from Printful. That's probably the best you'll do, the Gildan 64,000, which I think is a nice shirt. That's the primary one I used to sell. But here's the thing too that I was also experimenting with was with the Gildan 5000s in black and white through Printify from the right providers, you can have as high as like 46% profit margin at $19.99. So I mean 46%, and then that leaves huge cushion to run ads. So what I've been also experimenting with, because nothing needs to be set in stone, right? We want to be fluid. Like I know a lot of people that watch videos want me to say like, use this, price it this, do this. But it's like I also like to be fluid, right? Because we don't know like what's best, and also what's working now may not work in a year. So I like the flexibility. I like having a spreadsheet where I don't have to worry about like, oh, what are my costs? Like I want to know my exact margins. So the spreadsheet is cool because you just plug in a formula and you can adjust price points and whatnot and see how it reacts. But cool. Like so I've been experimenting with uploading like only one color sometimes. Like for instance, the Gildan 5000 in color white. With almost a 50% profit margin, I'm like, okay, let me see if I can move some of these, right? So also what I like is it removes a choice from the customer. It just says, like you don't have to choose the color, right? So it's one less drop down to
interesting.
Fill out,
that is, Yeah, I'll have to try that. One thing I do with all my listings, and it is a little more time consuming. If you go to my second image on there, I build all of these out. It's just something because I don't like the way Etsy, it doesn't always match up, with the actual colors. Like
it's not like eBay where eBay, when you switch the drop down, it switches the image associated.
Yeah, exactly.
That's preferable.
Yep. So I noticed, when I started putting together these things, and I just put these together in Canva, like after I put them together in Printful, I just download all of the mockups and just put them over, rearrange them, and put the color or the name on there. And it does take a little more time, but ever since I started doing that, saw a huge increase. And it makes sense too, because at first I was thinking, well, they can kind of figure out what the colors were, but that's going to turn people off, so so I just
Martin's saying that he thinks like the one color listings convert better in his experience.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to try some of those.
It's worth trying just because it makes sense too. Absolutely. Like one less option, like one less choice. There was a TED Talks that like introduced this concept into my mind years ago, but it was basically talking about how like too much choice can be a negative thing.
Yeah.
Even when we might think it's a positive, like when we're actually living it, like it may not be necessarily the best,
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, and he also said, Martin also said, you can choose a variant to be unavailable, and Etsy will still display the lowest price. That's really interesting as well. That you can like set a low price and then make it unavailable. I haven't tried that, so I'm not 100%, but
I've known that you can do that, but I have kind of, I don't know, like almost like ethical with that, like because the way my pricing is, like it's kind of the standard, but I feel like I don't want to completely mislead people, like, so if they see a price, like at least I'll have, a couple products on there, because I do see a lot of people doing that with the unavailable or out of stock. And so that's kind of but that's just me personally.
Yeah. I mean, I just offer, like you said, like one of the smaller ones discounted heavily and basically like priced it to where I won't lose money. So, but it'll basically be break even. And with ads, I could lose money, but it is what it is.
And
no, I was going to say, Jalandra asked if we review shops that are not just t-shirts. Yeah, for sure. You can just like either email me or message me your shop. And then if it's a good candidate, I'll review it at a later date. later.
I actually do wall decor on my shop too. And it's funny that she brought that up. These AI art designs, that first category there.
Oops.
So these are, yeah, since you have a computer or a background in computer science, these are all original created AI art. And I run several run a neural network through a Python script. So I can pretty much edit a bunch of different stuff, but these things have been really starting to sell well.
Nice.
And again, it's in the marketing. I market it on Pinterest and Instagram, but my goal is actually to sell more of these because my profit margins are higher
Nice.
on this. But yeah, and I've gone back and forth on having a completely separate shop, and because it is a little different, but they're selling at the moment.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. And have you heard of the software MyDesigns?
No, I haven't.
Oh, cool, man. Check out, like, after this, check out my channel. It's like I made the top playlist on my channel. Some content that I did around the beta release of MyDesigns, which I still believe you can create a free account and like
Oh,
actually
okay.
use it for free without having to like get some crappy, pared
Oh,
down,
cool.
like, you know what I mean? You can actually use it in like the full form right now
Oh, yeah,
and
cool.
mess around with it, man, because it's basically meant for in its current iteration. Like, I'm sure they have bigger things in the plan down the line, but like it's meant for helping you monetize your digital graphic files.
Oh, interesting.
So this would
Okay.
be a strong candidate. Like they've got built-in mockup generators that are really good, and you can do stuff in bulk, and you can use like little variables in your like
Oh,
listing, your optimal listing templates. You can set up templates. I mean,
oh, cool.
yeah, so
Wow.
you can set like a primary keyword, and then it'll just feed it into your titles, your tags, your
Yeah,
descriptions, and it's really cool.
I'm gonna check that out after this.
Yeah. So I know they've got great wall art mockups, by the way, that like will, I mean, not hating on your mockups, but like for sure are an improvement over these,
Yeah, yeah. I've actually gone. Yeah, this one was one of my first ones. It's just the white background, but I've kind of switched from. I used to have a Placeit, account, and which would provide mockups and all this stuff. And I don't know, like I've started noticing these frames that I've built with just a simple kind of mockup
Mhm.
have been doing better. So I just have that simple, first responder family, fast free
Yeah,
U.S.
yeah.
shipping, which I actually got from you would always say, like fill out that space, like, and
Yeah. I
so
reviewed a shop recently though that had like too much going on. It was like there were emojis sprinkled everywhere, and I was like,
oh,
just a little too much.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, no
um,
emojis here.
yeah, yeah. I thought the first one was cool, and then after a while I was like, oh, it's too much. It's like
Yeah.
detracting from the actual thing you're selling. But dude, I was gonna say, so maybe I will just, I don't know if it'll be next week or maybe the week after, but like I do want to just share my fully automated like Etsy process, like kind of dedicate some time to each of the steps that I went through, because I've spent a lot of time on
Yeah,
this. Like it's no joke. Like I'm pretty serious about it.
that's awesome.
And one of the things that I'll be showing is this tool that I remember I was like about to go to bed. It was probably like midnight. And I was like, I need to find a way to do bulk mockup generation, which by the way, that MyDesign software can do.
Oh,
So
okay.
it
Oh, that's good
actually
to know.
does do it. But I was looking for like alternatives for even more than just what MyDesigns can do in its current state. And I found this one that they got back to me, like, because their website didn't have any tutorials up. And I was like, can you like show me how this works? And they showed me, they actually helped.
Oh,
And
nice.
basically, like, if you use Photoshop, I'll do a separate video on this, but I just want to let everybody know that it's like super cool. Like you have to have PSD templates with smart objects on them so that it knows
Okay.
where to place your design, which you can actually like figure out how to do. It's not that hard. They also give you 20 for free.
Oh, cool.
Um, and what you can do is like you make a folder with however many PSD templates you want it to run, and then you make another folder with your designs. So let's say you do 10 PSD templates, 10 designs,
Hmm.
and then it's just a script that you install in Photoshop, and you just say go,
Oh,
and it'll do 10 times 10, and it'll make all the mockups for you completely passive.
really? That's
Dude,
awesome.
it's sick. It's
Yeah,
sick.
because yeah, I mean that's probably the most kind of time-consuming thing is just putting together the mock-ups and frames and color charts and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to just share that because it's something I found like super cool, super useful. And then like when you kind of, I spent another day just honing in on like what exact mockups am I going to use, what colors, how am I going to pair that to like the behind the scenes, when you create the products through, in my case, like Printify right now,
Mhm.
the colors have to match up to the mockups. So make the color
Yeah.
charts, size charts, all that good stuff. So yeah, it's
Wow. That's awesome.
a
Yeah,
lot of
I'm
work, but
gonna check
it's,
that out.
yeah. 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 So it's cool. I can show you it after this, but
Yeah.
so your shop, man, someone was asking about your star sellers.
Mhm.
Did you see your sales jump when you got
So
the star seller?
I did, and it but the thing is I don't know if it's because of the star seller, like the badge. I mean, like I've been on a trajectory, this growth trajectory, and so luckily I still like the star seller program because the metrics that it goes by, just how quick you respond to customers, how fast, are your shipments out on time, and are you getting good reviews. So those are things that I think all Etsy shops should be going for anyways. But I do know that there's a lot of issues around the star seller program right now. They just changed how it's calculated because it used to only be like five, like a 4.0 review would actually like damage your eligibility.
Right.
So they changed it. They changed how it's calculated. But I feel like it does help. And it does help you stand out from, like if they're just looking at a page of listings, and they see, I don't know, I feel like personally it has. Maybe not a huge amount, but it has.
Yeah. Cool, man. That's great. And yeah, look, when I was kind of laughing to myself, like with the star seller, just because, uh, like, with Etsy has a history of kicking people off their platform,
Yes.
including their like best performing shops,
Mhm.
famously, not famously, but like someone did behind the scenes. I didn't do any videos on it, but like I've referenced it before. Somebody was a top 100 Etsy seller, like Etsy shop, top 100, like doing easy seven figures annually
Mhm.
with like their own whole operation, making like custom silver and like sourcing the silver like over, like it was a crazy
Wow.
story. They didn't want me to tell it publicly or whatever, but like it was a crazy operation, super impressive. It was this like really young girl, probably like younger than me, and she got kicked off Etsy because she had
Really?
like a couple late shipments or something. You know what I mean? It was just absurd, right? So when I see the star seller, I just laugh to myself because I'm like, this is basically everything you need to do to not
Yes.
get kicked off Etsy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not
Exactly.
getting kicked off, you should be a star seller, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be tough too, like dealing with like yeah, the customer service part, which you mentioned earlier, especially as it's growing, like getting more and more sales, which can lead to more and more issues. And luckily for the most part, Printful's been awesome, but it definitely, is starting to take more and more time.
Someone said that people have been on Reddit saying they lost the star seller badge, have not seen a decrease in sales. So that's interesting to note. I mean, that's
Mhm.
understandable as well, just because
Yeah.
they they show it. Okay, they show it on your shop though, or on your listings. So that should, in theory, if you drilled into the numbers at scale, probably increase your conversion rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd
Most
imagine
likely.
so. And then there's another thing that Etsy does too, which is the shop reviews, where the buyers are raving. Which
Hmm.
if you get two or more 5-star reviews, you get that whenever somebody looks at your listing. Which I can only imagine that that leads to more conversions. Of course, I don't have the data, but it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. And I guess we'll talk Etsy, but let's just real quick answer this question, Meg's question. Any thoughts you want to share on Shopify? Are you on Shopify?
Actually, yeah. So I do have a Shopify store, but it is not active. And that was what I was doing actually kind of before my Etsy shop. And it's really awesome platform. But of course, you have to generate everything yourself. But I do believe I'm going to be transitioning at some point over completely to that Shopify store because, again, as he was just saying, it sucks to be at the whim of another company. And until you take that kind of onto your self,
Yeah.
you're always kind of at risk for that.
Yeah, man. If you go to Shopify, like I'll be hitting you up for some advice. Like I really haven't taken Shopify too seriously. Like my plate's full enough, as you guys would expect.
Yeah.
But I know that like the time and effort that I just put into like figuring out every little detail for my like fully automated Etsy shop, I guess we'll call it,
Mhm.
can be done for Shopify. Like I know that to be true.
Yeah.
And so I might be talking to you about like just some questions I have about like what template should I use, for instance. I want a high
Absolutely.
converting Shopify template.
Yeah, and Shopify, the way I've been really using Pinterest a lot to advertise, and I'm getting about 30,000 views on Pinterest. But
Nice. Wow.
Shopify has removed, or Shopify is like the only store e-commerce you can connect to your to your Pinterest account now, or you can claim it. And I guess it used to be like Etsy, you can claim your Etsy webpage and you can push out products and it would sync, but now it's changed. So
What about
um,
Zapier? Have you tried Zapier?
no, I've not heard of that one.
Okay, that's how I used to do it. I would have every time like I had a renewal on my Etsy shop, and like a renewal, for instance, can be just it expired after 3 months. But every time your product sells, most people, I mean, anybody that doesn't know this, I'm sure you know it, but like when it sells, you pay 20 cents for a renewal. That also would kick off this Zapier Zap that would post it to my Pinterest with a link back, my Facebook page tied to the shop with a link back, and
Oh
my
wow.
shop's Twitter account. So it was a
Oh,
pretty
interesting.
nifty little setup, but also at the same time, just, for what it's worth, I always like to remind everybody that it's hard to get organic visibility when you're trying to take people off of those social networks.
Right.
So it's not like some magical thing that makes you rich overnight, but like it didn't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole, I mean, like the whole POD, kind of my whole mantra is really like it's all amplifying. It's the work that like or the success I'm kind of seeing now is probably from the work I did a month ago. It takes time for those algorithms to index. It takes time
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you
Google to
know
index.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's why I'm
So
thinking the exact same thing, man. It's funny you said that because like I was like pushing products, like even when it's late at night, I'm like, nah, I just got to get some stuff done. Like I've been using flying upload to automate the uploads, by the way. Like I'll do
okay.
videos on this stuff probably and just show you guys because I've been in touch with their developers who are awesome.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
because like man, they turn stuff around for me in like a day. Like I'm like, hey, I'm
Huh,
having issues here, and
that's
like
pretty cool.
24 hours later or less, it's like they've fixed it already. So it's really, really cool.
Okay, I'll have to check that
Yeah.
one out too.
Yeah, I mean, not that everybody needs to be automating uploads to Etsy, but like
Right.
I'm trying it and I'll show you guys my sales. Like at a minimum, I'll start posting like I do my Instagram story. I post daily sales updates for
Mhm.
Seller Central, merch, and Printful. And I can probably find a good chart in Etsy or something to just show my sales.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I've actually messed around a bit with the automation, AutomatePOD, and yeah, I do want to move that way, especially like these all American grandma, grandpa ones. I actually have like dad and mom, things like that, which are perfect for automation. And that actually was made. I just took the eagle that graphic from Creative
Uh-huh.
Fabrica, and then select the pixels in Photoshop and remove it from the from the vintage sunset. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it's
And,
brilliant, man. And it's funny you just pointed this out because no joke today, somebody had emailed me about a research tool. I may do a video on it because it's like you can use it for free. Of course, it's like one of these tiered things, so you get it,
oh
you
yeah.
can use it daily for free for a certain amount of uses. But I had like just for fun, like went over to the Etsy section, seeded it with a keyword, and All American came up first, like as
Oh
like
yeah.
the trend for, and it was a July 4th cross niched with something that I'm not
Hmm.
gonna announce what it was because you
Yeah.
guys don't. I don't need everybody in my niches, but I
Yeah.
was like, oh damn, that's a good idea, right? But now you kind of know, anyways. All American X, right?
Yeah. Well, and I found that too. I use a lot of analytics, so it all kind of carries over. Pretty much Pro, which is only through for Amazon or Merch by Amazon. I use that a lot to identify trends because people are looking at Amazon. Those trends kind of carry over. So I use that as one, and then E-Rank as another, and Everbee as the third. Those are like my three primary tools, and they provide great analytics. And so I found like the All American. You see kind of what's coming up and build for that.
For sure, man, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean these look good too. So
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was happy with how that one came out. Takes
yeah,
maybe
like I
five
feel
minutes.
like just I always wonder though, like if I'm just being honest, I always just wonder if people have adjusted to like spending more than 19.99 on a shirt. That's the only thing that ever
Mhm.
like creeps into my mind is like if only we could truly like split test this, you know what I mean? Like if
Right.
we had like a ClickFunnels website and we could split test 50/50 like 19.99, 21.99 or even
Right.
24.99, right? And just see the actual difference, you know?
Yeah,
I
and
would
I
love to see
have
that.
been wanting to like I have been looking at Printify because just I mean it's so much cheaper, and I did see that they have like they can assist if you have a certain amount of volume, like transfer your you know your entire library over from something like Printful to Printify, and I think I'm just about to that volume where because it's yeah I think definitely money's being left on the table with just with you using Printful,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
if you're doing Bella Canvas, it's probably like worth a strong consideration, you know. Whereas
Mhm,
like
yeah.
before, I just did my Gildan 64,000s, and it was like I just said, you know what, it's fine, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and people are asking too. They want your thoughts on how is like free shipping influencing your traffic and whatnot. Do you think it's making a big difference? Like I know there's the Etsy free shipping guarantee. Maybe you want to explain the difference between that and just offering free shipping in
Yeah.
general.
You know, I just I have noticed that yeah, it's definitely picked up since I've taken this model where I'm just building in the cost of shipping to the overall price. And it's something that I've learned from other channels and people that have done well. And it is, you know, pricing psychology. So there's definitely a big increase since I started including the free shipping.
Cool. Yeah, I've always wondered too because I don't like to do free shipping and like I don't know. For me, free shipping is just like it's one of those things where you have to price them higher, and I'm like, I don't know, you
Hmm.
know. I'm always on the
Yeah.
fence about it because I
And
always
that,
want to run a sale too. So I'm like, the sale package
right.
should be enough.
Yeah, and that's not another important thing to always have kind of going, or make sure you always have sales going, because yeah, those help a lot, you know, and just even you know, I've Fourth of July sale, you know, I've been going on, or not Fourth of July, Father's Day sale that's still going on, and you know, people, anybody who's liked or added, you know, like who's hearted your that item, it'll send a message that that item's gone on sale.
There
So
you go. Yeah.
that can you know help with conversions quite a bit.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, because like I've been saying, I've spent so much time on like in the weeds of Etsy, just trying to get everything right up front so that I don't have to worry about it later.
Hmm.
Studying like a lot of these top performing shops, and what you do tend to notice is many of the highest ranking listings, like t-shirts on the highest value keywords, are
Hmm.
also refreshing their sale daily. Like
Oh yeah.
they, because they'll even say it in the search results. Um, like just July 4th shirt. They'll say it in search results as like, sale ends in, I thought these say it in search results. I wonder if that's something that it would say like sale ends in 5 hours or something. But
Oh
now I'm
yeah,
not seeing
I
it.
do
I wonder
remember
if it's
seeing
like a
that.
split test Etsy did because I'm not seeing it now.
Huh. Oh,
That's
those messy
interesting.
bun shirts. So many of those messy bun shirts. See them
Has anybody,
everywhere.
am I crazy? Let me know in the comments if I'm crazy, because I swear that they were moving this portion right here that I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah.
highlight, and they moved it into the search results.
Hmm.
That's weird,
I'm
but
not
now I'm
sure.
not seeing it. So it might be like, how like Amazon split test search results, like Etsy, I'm sure does. So maybe it was like
Yeah.
a split test that I saw.
Oh, interesting.
But when I saw that, I was like, damn, like you definitely should be refreshing your sales
Yeah.
daily, you
Mhm.
know?
Okay. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, I'll have to start looking at maybe yeah daily sale
Martin says
refreshes.
it shows to him. He has it. Yeah. So
Oh,
it's not
interesting.
just me, but even if they didn't
Hmm.
though, for what it's worth, it's like when a customer sees this on their listing screen, like it doesn't matter if you're on Etsy or anywhere else. If there's like a sale with a countdown and the customer is thinking like, "Oh, I'll just add it to cart and check out tomorrow." Oh, wait, the sale ends in 13 hours. Like they're way more likely to buy. Even if it's an
That yeah,
increase.
absolutely. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
if it even if it's like 10% at scale,
Mhm.
that's still like pretty massive, right? It's
Yeah.
not 10% flat, it's 10% of the people that came here with the intent to buy, but that's still huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another thing I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to rewatch this video to because there's a lot of good stuff in here
Yeah, there's
that I'm learning.
little like hacks and whatnot. Like I mean, I'm not saying that, everything I do is the only way to do it, but like I'll price my shirts so that when I run the sale, it just brings it to 19.99. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
looks like, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the right way to do it though. Maybe if I brought it to like 19 some odd number, then it may
Mhm.
actually look like a true sale as opposed to when you just run a sale and it takes it to the, like the flat
Right.
99 number, it looks fake.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess one other really cool marketing tool that Etsy has, you can set up, there's 3 different ones you can set up, abandoned cart code and
Hmm.
a heart code and then something else. So if somebody adds it to the cart and leaves, Etsy will send an automatic email to them with a code, discount code, and you can say how much that discount code is. And I think mine is like 10%, or something like that. But that also helps a lot too.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. So yeah, um, and again, too, refreshing that sale with the notifications, like Martin said, is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
See, those are some of like my earlier ones. I mean, you can see kind of the progression of, you know, like
yeah,
this is, I'm new, like I was not a graphic designer. I mean, I had some from my previous stuff, like some graphic design stuff, but not like this. So it's a progression, it's a growth.
yeah, and I was gonna say too, it's like these are good mockups, but for what it's worth, like I think I'm always thinking at scale, right? If I want to upload 1,000 listings, like
Mhm.
I want like to basically know a couple, like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. But like for my primary mockup, the one that's in search results, like I want them to be like really good, like really spot
Right.
on perfection. And
Mhm.
I was just gonna say that one thing that I'm sure of is that I like mockups where the design is like front and kind of
Mm.
center and not at an angle, not
Right.
skewed in any way.
Yeah, these ones are, I think when I had that Placeit subscription still. Yeah, like now I've just gone, like I actually just build out, I like the custom. I have a custom one from Printful, and I can just do like a background, a textured background or something, and then, um, yeah. So I've definitely changed.
Gotcha,
And I've
gotcha.
tried the 95 too, and I don't know. I only run a few products, and I didn't have great luck with it. And I don't know the
I've always done
psychology.
9.9, but
But yeah, I'm not sure. So I've stuck to the 9.9, but
yeah,
um,
one other thing too that actually, while I'm thinking about it, that oh, you have the little like accolade thing, have this in their cart too. That can be a nice way of drawing
mhm,
people's customers' attention to it. And whenever I have bestsellers, um, I mean, I won't lie, like my Placeit subscription at this point is free, so like I can just go there and just make a video, So if it's like I'm not trying
yeah,
to make a video for every listing, but if
mhm,
it's a bestseller
mhm.
and we know that like Etsy straight up tells you when you're editing a listing that videos are increasing the conversion rate. So I just make
Okay,
a video,
yeah,
like go to place it, upload a
that's a good
design.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, like at this point, I probably have, I don't know, maybe like 5 to 10 that are consistently selling, and yeah, that is something I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah. All Sun says that they keep a 2-day sale running at all times. By the way, shout out to All Sunset's Etsy shop. I
Okay.
didn't realize I saw this the other day. They have like over 10,000 sales of all
Really?
digital downloads. So that's really
Oh,
impressive.
that's cool. Wow.
Yeah, they're killing it. Do you have any advice, Dustin, on how to bring organic traffic to an Etsy shop? Anything come to mind?
Yeah. So one thing that really, well, first Pinterest. Pinterest has been a big help, but I'm getting a lot more conversions from the Meta business platform. So I use the Meta business platform to control my pages for Instagram and Facebook. And Instagram in particular, and
What is
this
it
is
called?
something, Credo Designs.
Oh no, you're the platform you're referring to.
Oh, Meta business platform, like the Facebook
It's
business
called
platform.
Made a Business.
Meta, like Meta.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
You call
like
it Meta?
mhm. Yeah, that they changed their name. It's basically the Facebook business platform, but
Yeah, yeah.
it really provides deep analytical tools. But you can also schedule your posts. And I run a lot of, like, all of my posts are, primarily like mock-ups of, like, those mock-ups I've already put together with first responder shop and all that,
Right.
and on the Instagram version, make sure you're always including 30 tags. There's a lot of really good hashtag generators. That in itself has, my traffic has shot up, coming from Instagram. So that's a
Nice.
big one. And same with Facebook too. Like those hashtag generators can be really, really helpful if you use them in certain ways. And definitely the Instagram, include those 30 hashtags, and I've been doing it for Facebook too. But yeah,
Nice.
those are probably my biggest tips to increase organic traffic.
Nice. All right, good. I'm glad to hear that that's working for you. Like I always have my suspicions that it's like harder and harder, but it's like it's free, right? To get
Right.
people off of Facebook, off of Instagram and get them to anywhere, right? That's not owned by Meta. I was confused because I call it Meta. So I was like,
Oh yeah, no, it's still, yeah, it still trips me up.
yeah, their business manager too. I know what you're referring to, man. Like that is one confusing, like just
It
so much
takes
goes on.
it took probably a month for me to fully kind of understand. Like it really is extremely like confusing and just, yeah, it's a
Dude,
pain to learn, but it's worth it in the end. That and Google Analytics. uh, Set up
yeah.
Google Analytics, because that way you can push out posts and you can see instantly, okay, are people responding? And that's been really helpful too. But that takes a little bit of figuring out. But if you can get it set up, it's worth it.
Yeah, and Etsy, even for people that don't want to go down the rabbit hole, it's like they're good about telling you your traffic sources in the
Yeah, they
statistics
are.
section. So that's what's really cool. Like you don't have to try that hard to like get a pretty good idea of like where your customer acquisition's coming from. And then even with ads too, like you can kind of drill down after you've been running them for a while. So
Yeah.
I'm still getting over the fact that like Etsy used to let us control our bids, and now they, it's been years at this point, but like I'm living in the past mentally. Like they used
Oh
to and then they don't anymore. But
wow.
yeah, with like I was saying, like if I'm running, 46.4% profit margin on like a Gildan 5000 white color shirt, then
Mhm.
I'm open to running a lot more ads, right? And if I really want to hit like the numbers that I want to hit with this shop, like I'm gonna have to run ads. So it's one of those things where I'm excited to like let this data keep building and kind of see what's working.
Absolutely, I completely agree. The data approach, that's what I'm taking. That's my background's in that, so it just makes sense to me, and it seems like it's starting to kind of work.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I'm sure it'll only, it's only uphill from here, like you said too. You're building like more and more. You're building on top of what you did previously. So,
Yep, absolutely.
so KT asked, what do you think about on average? How long before you start making consistent sales on Etsy?
I think it probably took maybe 2 months to really start getting, at least a sale a day. The growth, it's on an exponential. Like it's not, it's kind of crazy, but now I'm getting, 5 to 6 sales a day. So it happens fast.
Very nice, man. That's awesome. Yeah, and with if you want to just go crank into ads, you could probably make daily sales pretty quickly.
Yeah,
It's just your choice of like, can you make that work? What's your tolerance and whatnot.
right. Yep. I think the organic
Chuck
will always
said
be good.
Chuck said he's been implementing tips and doing really well, man. I'm happy to hear that, Chuck. That's
That's
awesome. If you
awesome.
ever want to tell your story, hit me up. Uh, D asked, is it better to start on Etsy or Redbubble? So, Dustin, what about in your experience, man? What are you thinking?
I'd say Etsy. I do have a Redbubble account, and it doesn't do nearly as good as my Etsy. I also don't spend the amount of time, but in my experience, though, I don't know, Redbubble, it has its place, but to be like a primary driver of income, I don't know if it, in fact, I think you talked about this recently, Ryan, when you went over your, yeah, like
Yeah.
your income from Redbubble, and how it's really chasing those trends, which like kind of on a different level, it seems to really do successful on Redbubble consistently. Like just
Yeah.
my perspective or opinion.
I think no, I mean it's explained pretty easily. It's like if you just kind of reset your perspective and just say like, okay, I'm a customer and I'm looking for this. And then you do like a Google search or something. That's where most, if they're not going directly to Redbubble, then they go to Google most likely, right? And they're going to go
Right.
Google Redbubble checkout. But you
Yeah.
can type in this, and if this isn't like a big trend or something, you'll probably find your way to like Amazon or Etsy outranking Redbubble. And then when you go to, if you just go directly to Redbubble and don't know what to even search for, like Redbubble is often putting either the, right now they're doing like the Pride stuff, and they'll put like the low hanging fruit, big trends in front of you. But then
Hmm.
also like you go to their Discover page or their Explore page, whatever it's called, and it's just like all rampant IP infringement, right? So it's like,
Yeah, exactly. There's so much of it on that platform, and yeah, and so that in itself kind of makes me, like, well, do you want to put, a tremendous amount of effort? I don't know.
that's what's being
Um,
rewarded there. So it's,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and competition on Redbubble is crazy.
Mm.
All right, we'll take like a couple more questions and probably wrap up at like 2, so it's been about an
Okay,
hour.
cool. That sounds good.
Anybody with questions, like let us know. KT said, how many listings should they aim to upload per day to Etsy?
Um, Kind of what I had started off with was aim to do 5 a day, and of course, some days that's not, you're not able to do that, but doing 5 a day really helped me improve my graphic design ability. And I'm not a graphic designer. Like I can't draw like a, like I'm a terrible artist, but I've been able to teach myself this stuff. And yeah, so I think if you were to do five a day, it helps you build up your skills as well.
Yeah, and I think like just make it work for you too. Like everybody's different, and when you upload to Etsy more than anywhere else, I think it's really important to like understand the difference between here's a good example, right? Like this is kind of more like a default mockup that's not too impressive, right? Like that's
Right.
not your best work by any stretch
Yeah.
versus like this, right?
Yeah.
Like if we put these two next to each other, which one is converting better, guys? Even though they're different designs, let's pretend it's the same shirt, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
white background, like kind of crappy version, the default, or a nice
Yeah.
mock-up like this. Like we know this is gonna reward you more
Mm-hmm.
over the long run. And so when you think of uploading to Etsy, to me, it's not the same as like uploading to Merch by Amazon. Merch by Amazon, we only control a couple things.
Right.
We get in, we get out. With Etsy, it's kind of like, hey, you got to push the product, make the thumbnail, push the thumbnail. If you want to do
Mm-hmm.
the price hack where you reduce the price of one of them, you got to do tags. Don't skip those. If you don't have a good way of doing tags, just do a spreadsheet formula. Honestly, I've been doing that a lot
Yeah.
lately. And then I just copy paste.
Yeah, absolutely. I do the same. I have
Yeah,
my
and there's tag generators, like there's a lot of options. But with Etsy, and then it's like, then you got to add it to a section, maybe add it to your existing sale, right? Because it won't have the sale applied by default. So, more work goes into
yeah.
Etsy.
Yeah, it definitely has much more upfront work, I'd say too, is you're doing all this stuff, and again, like I'll do stuff today, and I probably won't pick up really heavily until maybe a couple weeks from now. So yeah, yeah.
Are you getting a lot of custom order requests? Martin asks.
I am actually, and I even have a listing now where I was trying to think of ways to do it, because I do have people, want just like some of my designs with their own words. So I picked my top 3 designs that are doing the best, and I have a single listing, and it's customizable. It's not connected to Printful, and when somebody orders it, it just asks 1, 2, or 3, which one do you want? And
I was trying to find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Etsy
So
search function's not that great.
And then it's asked, like they fill out what they wanted to say, and I work with them. It might be under all summers design. Oh, there it is. That customize your design.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, nice.
So these have been selling too, and so there's 5. Yeah, I give color options, and yeah, so I've been selling these pretty frequently, and this at least doesn't have like a wide, like, I don't know, it's set on what they can customize, so it's simple for me to just go in there and just fill it out, send it off.
Yeah, that's smart, man. And like I had told the story before about my old shop, like one of my best sellers was a custom request from a repeat customer. So like somebody who had already bought like 2 or 3 shirts from me sent me another custom request, and instead of just like sending it back channel, I actually made a listing for them. And man, I got like, I don't remember the numbers, but I know I had made like hundreds, if not 1,000, like actual profit off of just like crazy sales off that trend.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
So it was pretty
absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, like and I even advertise that on my shop, description, like customizable, no additional cost. Just send me a message.
Yeah, All Sunsets just gave a good tip too. You can renew your listings early to get a little boost in organic placement, because when you renew a listing, like it does actually work this way. And sometimes you'll upload listings and sell right away, but it's because when you upload, you're getting that renewal, right? Or like if you just sell one, that's a renewal as well, and that helps the algorithm like give you a little bit more organic placement.
Oh, wow, that's good to know. I had no idea about that. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, it's so random, but like there's software you can use that like you can basically go into the software and just like tell it to, you can schedule early renewals and stuff like that if you want to.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
All right. I think we'll wrap here, guys. Thank you, Dustin,
Awesome.
for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was a pretty good Etsy workshop, I would say. And everybody
Yep.
that showed up, I really appreciate that. Anybody catching the replay, what's wrong with you? Why weren't you here on time? No, I'm kidding. Thank you, everybody, for watching, though. Thanks, Dustin, again, man. I appreciate it. We'll
Thank
check
you.
back in later and give like a sales update at some point.
I will, absolutely. Let's stay connected.
Awesome, man. All right.
All right.
Take care, everybody.